All right. Rise and shine. All right, everybody. Thank you, studio audience. Rise and shine. We're getting this one in early. First and foremost, I want to thank you, good people, for helping a guy out, rise the channel up. We're just tickling 900. We're tickling it. 900 subscribers. So, I appreciate that. True Blue. I was talking to my buddy and we're throwing things around and it's being made or not being made and what you hear for however you view and perceive the mafia. What is concrete things, or there is some flexibility in things when it's a concrete structural hierarchy with codes and different policies. Yes, no doubt. True blue hardcore codes. But in the same breath, my good people, if I'm elected, but in the same breath, there's exceptions to the rule. What we were talking about, me and my friend were talking about Joe Watts. And Joe Watts was Irish or German, maybe. Joe Watts was German. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And not even made. How could he be so close to Gotti? So regular viewer would say, well, that could never happen. Well, he's not Italian and he's not made. Well, there's exceptions. There's exceptions. Everything's just not. And Mike F, I'm not trying to bash anymore Mike F, but when he talks about then he cows town, he bows down to now maybe a captain, like he'd call himself a captain or whatever. It didn't even matter what his subsidiary was. He could call himself general. He could call himself anything, any term, any descriptive term he could call himself, because it was just an offshoot sidebar. It wasn't the real family over here. People don't understand that. They just refuse to understand it. So enough of that. I was running around and so now you got a view, psychologically speaking, you got guys running all over the place. And then like I said, like Joe Watts, he's not in the mix. He's not a made guy. He's in the mix, but he's not a made guy. And he's not Italian. And they're watching, he's rocking and rolling with Gotti or whatnot. And they're like, wow, we can't even get that close to him. And we're Italian and we're made guys. And it affects people. Everybody has psychology. Everybody, thinks of, jealousy or envy and things like that. And when I started going up to the club, I was sitting, one of my first early initial encounters. I'm a greenhorn. I'm up there like this. Oh, where do I go now? So I'm sitting in this restaurant, the club, and I'm at a table, and a guy says, "Oh, what are you doing here? Are you ordering or what?" I says, "No, I'm waiting for Sam." He said, "Sam? You can't see Sam." I says, "Well, I was told I was supposed to talk to him or whatever, anything else." So I'm trying to, here comes this guy. So he says, "Get the hell out of here." So I said, "Yes, sir." You mother. So I says, "Well, I'll just go wait in the car." He's going, "Get the F out of here." Paul D, good morning. Rise and shine, everybody. It's Reveille over here. So I'm thinking to myself, that wasn't too kind. So I go in there now because it's just like, that's such a flagrant foul. You got to talk to somebody else, and then somebody else was supposed to say, oh, well, I'm supposed to say to a guy, and he could deliver the message to him, and it's just not supposed to be one-on-one contact, like just a friend in the street, confidant, just like you have a friend, hey, let's go meet, blah, blah, blah. You don't need any intermediaries to pass a note, to pass a note, to pass a note, which is a lot of times their protocol, but not all the time. And that's what RJ Roger and Mikey Scars were saying about Joe Watts, who was very intimate and close to many different families. Because the guy was sharp, thinker, mental hopscotch. And so I just wanted to illustrate on this video that you'll see a lot of this stuff on Mob Talk, Mob View, and all that. But there are other people that, for the benefit of making money, that they get a pass. They get a pass. I mean, and that's why I got in trouble when I couldn't talk to guys a certain way without being a made guy. And then you don't have a right to, only in certain capabilities. Now, I had a couple friends that were in them crews, and we would gamble, like just civilian gamble. We'd go gamble, and that was just a regular side, just normal friends gambling. And then there's this other side of this guy that's strictly Cosa Nostra rules and conduct. And that's when things get real goofy. It's like, I don't understand. You're still the same guy. Well, what now? You morph into some other character? No, you're my gambling buddy. We go gamble. We go have lunch. We rock and roll. And then all of a sudden, under this other roof, I gotta communicate in a certain way. It's hard to adapt like that when you're just a young greenhorn going, well, what is what? So very interesting psychological things about being made or not being made. There was a kid that came around. He was from Central New York, and good guy. Be more personal. He wasn't with these guys, but they do things behind the scenes and everything. And early on, I was out back waiting for the boss, and he come out there. Hey, I heard you're helping them out. I said, yeah, everything's all right. And he was like, good guy. He says, well, what do you think about this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy? He was kind of giving me a rundown out of his heart. He was giving me a rundown. Well, this guy, he's okay. You could only do so much with him, or these are the limits with this guy, or this is this guy's attitude. Don't talk about this with this guy, or just trying to give me a little summary about the DNA and thinking of these guys. And I thought that was real kind of him. He was a good guy, real good guy, a joker. And we're kind of like the same. And he was like, are you going to get made or not? And I was like, nah, I don't think so. And he was like, well, sooner or later, you're either going to be in or you're going to be out. And I was like, well, I want to be out, like just walking away. I don't want to be out getting carried away. So let's not get carried away here, No, Pete. Good morning to you, Pete and Paul D412. So I know there's a lot of information from media and documentaries and television shows, movies, and everything else, but um, it's not all concrete what you see in all these media vehicles that you gain your information on. And there was a lot of guys that took offense to me being around and I wasn't made. They had a chip on their shoulder and I was close to Sam. They didn't like it. They did not like it. In their eyes, a Joe Blow, me, cannot be sitting at a table having soup with him. They were taught and they were taught and grew up knowing that you can't do that unless you're just like a family DNA family, like his son or daughter or nephew, like that. But they have friends. Now he could have a friend from high school that he played football with and just come sit down. Okay, that's just regular stuff. But if I'm in a capacity, if I'm in their environment capacity for whatever reason, then you got to go with that protocol. So I'm just trying to illustrate the best I can to clear some things up for you good people that are interested in mob view, mob talk, and this genre, that I was an exception. And I also had my godfather that was an enforcer that protected me. So I got to admit to that too, because there was another variable in this environment. There was another variable. And after a couple things happened before, my godfather said, quit messing with JoJo. Enough, because a lot of things happen. And some of these guys in the crew were being real cute with me and really riding me. And when he just had to say, I'm not going to tell you guys again up there, so that was another variable but I didn't use that. I did not use that to just run around like a tough guy. Oh, I'll get my godfather. No. I just still try to be a mild-mannered guy and respect everybody and just try to hustle a couple dollars. And my godfather was not made. He was an enforcer and he did work for a lot of different families. So there's another being made or not. You're going to call out a guy to do hits that ain't even a made guy. So did you ever hear about that in your mob genre, mob talk? Or were you taught to believe that, well, that never could happen? Just curious. We're just throwing things around. That's all. Good morning, Francis. So that being made or not being made in the structural mob, yeah, but like Joe Watts, he was the best chess player out there for a certain if you guys know the genre and everything with Gotti and Scars and all of them. But he also alluded to top echelon people in the mob were informants for years and years and years and years. Informants. Which, that's just the way it is. That is just the way it is. A lot of them, Joe Watts told a story, or Scars told a story about when they were having a meeting and then they pulled up in a limo with all these other, maybe a captain or a couple other guys, and it threw everything off because they were going to have a meeting. And if things went the wrong way, they already had the body bags in the car. Just a little sidebar here. And kind of threw everything off. And that reminded me of Mike F. pulling in. Well, Joe Watts, they pulled up in a limo, but they had like one of those black town cars, those long black Cadillac town cars or whatever, Continental town cars, and people in it. See, they're just thinking, hey, the more people, and if there's a chauffeur, if there's a limo driver, chauffeur, well, there's another witness. That's like an innocent witness. So it could throw off things. It could throw off things if there's like some kind of foul play on the menu. I thought that was pretty slick because that reminded me of when MF would come up with 2 cars. Like, if you guys had any idea, but that doesn't dismiss just because you go to a meeting or a gathering for whatever, that you could dodge that right there, then and there, but you could still be sought out somewhere else. But Mike F., he stayed out of the streets. If he was going to go on the streets, there's a lot of people around. Yeah. Paul D, 412. They never seen. Thank you, Paul D. Paul D says, I saw that too. Crazy that top informant was never revealed to this day. Can you imagine if we only knew Francis, Paul, and Pete? If we only really knew in mob lore, historical accounts, what? The FBI will go just for the sake of saying, ha, 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 just for their last jab, ha, 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 we won't reveal it because for whatever reason, maybe when some of these agents get to be 70 and 80, some guy will come out and go on VLAD and he'll do an interview and he'll say, well, hey, for your information, this guy with the chin, this other guy that was over him, and then the Gambino guy over here, and then the Colombo guy over here. And you go, what? What? We thought they were stand-up men. Because it's just a crapshoot. The mob, there's nothing concrete. There's the Cosa Nostra norms and mores and codes and ethics and whatever, but yeah, you have concrete structure and then you have a rodeo, anything goes. You got informants that we'll never know about. And that was a good interview that Scars did with RJ Rogers about that meeting. And how I respect Joe Watts, not even being Italian and not even being made, because he was a thinker. He was a thinker. And he could talk directly to the boss. He didn't have to talk to no captain or anything. That's why they were asking Scars, well, how come he didn't talk? No, he's his... They're friends, confidant, and they just talk. So Joe Watts could leverage things out without intermediaries, firsthand, face-to-face with people. And can you imagine the juice he had on them? So being made or not being made, it is what it is. But I mean, these guys at the club, they didn't. Some of them were so old school. I'd go say, hey, hello, how are you? What's the soup of the day over here? And they just, who is this guy? Oh, excuse me, my bad. And I wanted to say, but that's understandable. Later on, as I got to know them, this and that, they'd go get jacked up all over the place, and I'd have to go pick them up. Later on, it got more intimate, but they were stern. They were stern. No respect. Zero respect for not being a made guy. I just can't be a friendly guy running errands. I mean, you can't accept me as a guy that just run around, and you can't. You be nice to me. I'm just a regular guy, just in the world. I'm trying to help you out. You're cocked. You're cheating on your wife. I'm your alibi. What? No respect. Like Rodney Dangerfield. I can't get any respect. But of course, that's a big thing, being made or not made. But just person to person, a lot of them just didn't. Yeah. I'd be sitting with Sam eating or talking, and they'd come out or something, and they would say, "Oh, Sam, I gotta talk." They would try to get Sam away from me, and he'd say, "Hey, hold on, I'm having lunch here with Joe." It'd be like friction, stress. They're like little jealous little kids. They're just, and I'd think, "Oh, now he's pissed off at me, Sam." He said, "No, don't worry about it. What the hell?" Sam understood that that's that psychological dynamic for being a dinosaur. For he's 70 something years old. He knows he's a psychologist also, and you got to be a psychoanalysis. Or I mean, you got to psychoanalyze these people, and he's been around wise guys for 60 years, so he could psychoanalyze them better than me. I think, oh, geez, that's terrible. He's going, no, don't worry about it. So you don't get any respect, more or less. I didn't have a historical genealogy of like my father and grandfather or whatever. My cousin on my father's side was rocking and rolling in that life. But me, I didn't have any family members other than that to back me up. All I had was my godfather that was an enforcer. So it wasn't like they were going, "Oh, that's Nikki's kid, Jojo." Yeah, bah bah bah. See, they didn't realize, so they knew that I wasn't in that direct genealogy. But then afterwards, they were surprised after they kept busting my cayumes that my godfather was actually. They were like, "What?" A couple guys. What a small world this is. I was like, "Yeah, I was born in Brooklyn. My father was. They were buddies, and he was my godfather." So they were surprised. So then they looked at me a little different after that, because a lot of things happened, and so I wasn't made, but at least I got a little more respect, so to speak, if because and there were some bad actors in that crew. There were some bad actors, because sooner or later, I'm just saying, I don't know. Everything's just allegedly or speculation, but sooner or later, they know that it might be my godfather that actually gets a hit on them. It just for psychologically speaking and thinking down the road, that maybe in the Colombo family, whatever, and if something comes out, that a Colombo will hire him to hit a Colombo. They make hits within their own regime. So down the line, so there's no exemption. I mean, and things did get shaky a couple times, and I learned I was wrong earlier. Then I made a mistake again, and then my godfather, he had to tell Sam, "Hey, just tell your guys, just leave JoJo. Don't. There's no communication. They're baiting JoJo in." I was younger. I was a little more aggressive. I wasn't trying to be a tough guy, but don't bait JoJo into this stuff, because enough's enough. You want to do business. JoJo's running errands. Leave it at that. You got these stooges running around causing trouble, unnecessary trouble. They had low IQs. They're not looking at the big picture. They're low IQs. My thinking was way ahead of their thinking. I'm not just trying to say I'm some genius guy or anything, because you could be the smartest guy in the world and still go down. And I realized that. So I walked away. So being made or not being made is viewed a lot of different ways. Because you could be an associate and be made or not, run around guys, but whatever these labels are, they just didn't like the fact that I could be that close and intimate to the boss. They just didn't, for whatever their thinking was, they just didn't like it. I didn't earn that, so to speak. I didn't have a father or uncle in the family. So I don't deserve to be that close to the boss. But the boss could just use me as a utility guy to, run whatever errands that need to be done. And they can't accept that. Crazy, trying to unpack the psychological thinking of some of these guys, these behaviorisms and attitudes and everything, and transpose them onto a structure. You're going to get a lot of craziness in there. So I did a wake up video here. Thank you, Paul D412, for helping me out. Pete, your message got retracted. I don't know what you said. Francis, thank you. And Leon Swan and AGK, everybody that comes in and helps me out. We're pushing 900 subscribers, folks. I appreciate all your help, and we're just gonna keep swinging. Boom! I finally hit a double. Joe Ruffino, good morning, Captain. All right. So I'm pleased. I'm really pleased with the support. It's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. People hanging out with me. I'm a sensitive lad. Mike Amari. Remember Concepcion? Well, you're too young, maybe. He used to cock his arm. When he would, for the Cincinnati Reds. So I'm having fun over here. Man, life is good. Thank you, world. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Ask the universe like I said in the other videos, put your order in with the universe. Put your order in, Pete, you're back. How come every time you give a comment, it's redacted? What are you, MFing me? Oh, Pete, this is good juice. You can't even get football slips anymore. I heard a guy in the Bronx that lost his house gambling slots in a cafe. Oh, they used to have the double. They used to have these makeshift slot machines at the certain clubs, the double flower or whatever. Complete ripoff, and these guys would get hooked on them. Hey, Gambino, these guys would get hooked. Good, thank you, Pete. I got a couple more minutes of content until my battery runs out. You talk about crazy gambling. Yeah, they used to have pull tabs. These pull tabs, and they would have, get the 3 stars or whatever, and then you get it. They'd have a big container of pull tabs, and within that batch, there were certain prizes, cash prizes in there. And they called this guy, actually, I don't like repeating people's names, but if anybody knew him, you guys probably didn't know him, but they called him Dapper Dan. And he was hooked on these pull tabs. And so you could go to a club, and they would have the civilians come in. They'd always have lunch specials, and then people would get the pull tabs and everything. But Dapper lost 3 houses. He was wealthy. He had money. He lost 3 houses on the pull tabs. God rest his soul, man. I don't know if I should say, but on the pull tabs, complete sucker game. Complete sucker game. But he enjoyed that, and he was older in age. And you heard of a guy, this guy lost 3 houses to the pull tab, but he had like 8 houses. But he lost 3 of them, and he had some businesses. So thank you, Pete. Gambino, what are you up to? The big Gambino. Vegas Pete. I lost $7,000 going into the gas station, get gas, but stopped to play video poker. So I had to make a long story short. Smoke another cigarette, sir. Vegas Pete says, I lost $7,000 and into the gas station to get gas, but stopped to play video poker inside the station. But to make a long story short, I blew $7,000. I didn't even get the gas. Man, we love the action, Vegas Pete. We love action, but how far will our crazy minds go? I go nuts. I don't even have a lot to start with. And I'm willing to sacrifice that and then have to penny pinch and, go to the res and get $4 of gas in my tank and then, compromise. Wow. I should be already set up nice in my old age. I made a lot of mistakes. But I have one beautiful daughter that I did the right stuff with. That, thank you, world, for at least giving me that blessing. Because if there was a blessing that I would want, it would want me to do right by my offspring. And at least I pulled that off for a fairy tale up. I had a little money back then. Not anymore. So why don't you guys donate to my channel? Oh, Gambino. I went out to Denny's on the strip to get my wife breakfast. Came back 4 hours later with her $3,000 omelet. Honey, listen, I hope you enjoy this. Cost me $3,000. I used to, yeah, that was good. Sometimes I'd bring these guys to the racetrack. They didn't know how to gamble that much and read a racing form. One guy did. He knew how to, but because sometimes they'd be generous and they'd put like 200 up and they'd say, Jojo, pick, because I could read the racing form and pick winners, like, analytically. And so they would say, well, what's this mean? The dollar beer costs you $1,500. Joe Garcia, welcome aboard, folks. So sometimes you just get a greenhorn that really didn't know like about horse racing and say like, well, that's even money. So you know what even money is, Jimmy? Well, just bet 500, make 500. Well, what if I bet 1,000? Well, you bet 1,000, you make 1,000. Well, what do you think? Well, I don't want to tout and be a tout like, oh, this and that. So he started going crazy. Don't know how to read a racing form. We were just going to chill out, get lunch or whatever, and go and just kill the day. He was supposed to meet a guy somewhere or whatever. And he blew like 4,000. Didn't even know how to read the racing form. Didn't even know how to read a racing form, but he was sending it in here. Send it in, parcel post. Just to get down. Action, action, action. And then I would say, like, my go-to a lot of times would be, well, the numbers will fluctuate, ladies and gentlemen. The numbers of your bankroll will fluctuate, but nonetheless, you got your action in. You got down. But then there's a hangover. There's a hangover when you're laying in bed at night, getting ready to go to sleep, and you're assessing the day's events, and you're going, why the F did I do that? Why did I do that? That's precious money. It doesn't seem like precious money when you're getting it in. That was an expensive education. Better than Harvard education, Vegas Pete. That's better than a Harvard education. That's the PhD, doctorate. Hey, hey, David BMX, where you been? You're late. I already had my orange juice and bagel. No, I didn't. You know what I got? I got my caffeine, I got my nicotine, and I got my good people, and that's all I need. And I'm a happy camper. Vegas Pete, man, you're funny. You know the, you know those trials and tribulations. You know those trials and tribulations. Yeah. Big Gene, God rest his soul. Big Gene was a Western New York guy, tough, DeFrancisco. Big Gene. He would come. He wasn't with this crew. This was a different period of time. Big Gene would come, and he used to at the racetrack. He would stand near my ma in that general vicinity, and he might have known my father in New York or what, but we didn't get too intimate on that. He was in and out of prison, and it was Big Gene D. His wife wrote a book called Married to the Mob, and he couldn't read a form, but he was sending it in, but he let me take the wheel, and he didn't sidebar and just go bet thousands. But we made scores, because when you got somebody putting up the money, it's a little more, of course, comfortable, less stressful, and we made scores. But some of these guys, they couldn't gamble to. What are you going to do? A gamble is gambling. I was a very scientific guy, well educated in math, and when I was helping take the action, allegedly and all that, I don't even know what the hell I could say on here. Everything's allegedly, Mauricio. But I was a mathematician beyond basic math, but scientific math, and I was very careful on placing bets, or let me get 9% profit over a year, and look at stuff so analytically and tight assed that, like, like a financial institution like EF Hutton or whatever. But these guys just want to bet. They want to put up 3,000 and make 20, and they're sending it in. So my mind was set on traditional financial percentages of making a percent on your money, but these guys just trying to put up 5,000 and doubling it in one horse race. Yeah. Gambino. Hey, Gambino says, hit the like button and subscribe. Who's going to be my 900th subscriber? You know what you're going to get? You know what you're going to get from me? Whoever is my 900th subscriber is going to get a thank you. All right? Because I don't have anything else to give you but a great video. Ta-da! Look at this, playing on tilt. Am I playing on tilt, Reno? Hey, G. Sekariason. Good morning, G. New guy here. Playing on tilt. Reno, Nevada. When you tilt, okay, folks, I got a couple more minutes here. There's a level of psychology. This is the Pavlovian psychological theorist of gambling. Thank you, G. Sekariason. What a name, G. Sekariason. Great name. There's a level of psychology. All right. Say you got 3,000 in your pocket. You got 3,000 in your pocket, not me. I think my total is $17.42. Say you got 3,000 in your pocket. I'm going to go gamble. You know what? I'm going to bet a couple hundred, and I'm going to screw and get the hell out of there. All right. Now you're sitting. Boom. You blowed a couple hundred. Let me see. Let me send a little more in. I'll get this 200 back. Now you're stuck 6. Well, I'm grinding along here. Why don't I just put this 6 up? Let me bet 600 to get this 6 back. Call it a day, and we'll get it all in one swoop. Now, you get pimpled at the wire, photo finish. You get beat by a nose. Now you're stuck 12. You started off just wanting to chill out and bet a couple, and then you want to double up, double up, double up, and then you ain't got money for the tolls on the way back home. Mo Alley, my man, Mo Alley. So the psychology of gambling, I'll be very careful. I'll just put up a couple dollars, and then you're going home without your socks and underwear going, I just got fleeced. It's almost like, did I just get pickpocketed? What the hell happened here? For crying out loud. Gambino, chasing rainbows. Next year for the proposition bets for football. Now what am I touting? I'm touting. There's going to be a team that was like 500 this year. There's going to be a team, football team, that was just like 9-9 or 8-8, whatever it is, 9-9. And they're going to be 50-1. And they're going to win the Super Bowl. So if you bet 100, you get back 5,000. NFL futures, folks. You get it all in here, Vegas Pete. Vegas Pete, thank you for your input, man. Where do you guys get these names like that? You know my mind is psycho on these names. You know, look at Zachariason. Man, I love these. Gambino, Mo Ali. What am I, a psycho about names? The hell is wrong with me? I can't. Gambino? Could be the Chargers, Gambino. Because them guys get healthy on defense. Them Chargers could. You know, these teams. Oh, all right. Yeah, no. Vikings. I got Scandinavian or Viking or maybe Viking or Norway, Scandinavian. But they're good people. They come in here and help me out. Man. Mauricio, why would you be changing your name? Mauricio. I'm Joe. I'm Joe. What kind of more basic name can you get than Joe? Why couldn't my first name be Valentino? Valentino. Wow, that's exotic. That's sophisticated. Hey, Joe, get over here. You had the Eagles 60-1. Vegas Pete knows what's going on. Wow. With that quarterback, that was hey, Joe said Joe's a great name, Joe. Giuseppe. See, I used to like when they used to say Giuseppe. Joseph, if you will. But Nick Foles. Yep, Nick Foles. Did you send him a Christmas card, Pete? Giuseppe, see? Joe Garcia, I got you. Giuseppe, yeah. Yeah, Giuseppe. Yeah. GS. When I was little, they used to have a magazine called the National Enquirer, and it was just tabloid, just crazy stuff. And so the only other thing I knew of JoJo was there was an article in the National Enquirer that said JoJo the dog-faced boy. And I was like, that's the only other JoJo I can relate to was JoJo the dog-faced boy. I said, Mommy, look at it. Why am I JoJo? There's this JoJo the dog-faced boy in the National Enquirer. She said, JoJo's a beautiful name. Vegas Pete. No, you blew the money the next week, Vegas Pete. Oh, jeez. Holy cow. Oh, by the way, folks, if you haven't heard, pull a book out of my ass here. If you haven't heard, anybody reads out there, wants to read, look at that little Giuseppe. Come on, Giuseppe. Come on, buy the book. Look at that poor little kid. Right after that, I went to the hospital for almost a year. The links are in there. The links are in there for anybody that wants to throw a bologna sandwich down Giuseppe's throat. So thank you. But all you do, all I appreciate is viewing, number one, just getting your view to my channel. And if you hit that like button, I know it's tough. I don't want to be sarcastic, but hit the like button, comment, share, boom, 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 and everything else. So, Vegas Pete, was Anthony Raimondi a made guy? There is so much speculation on Anthony Raimondi that I feel the same way. I don't know. I've asked 80-year-old guys that are 80 today and 75, but he was around, and he did have some lineage, DNA, and family tree and stuff like that. But but you know what I mean, Vegas Pete. I mean, there might have been some truth to the mother's cousin or something like that, and then he piggybacked it, and then he came up with all of this stuff. But I wouldn't put it, if I was a betting guy, I wouldn't put it past him to be a murderer. Yeah, that's all. Pete says, I worked at Marina Del Rey caterers in the Bronx in the late 90s and walked the Chin's brother, and he was fed. Yeah. Pete, was that the surf? Were you familiar? Was there the Surfside 3 Marina or the Surfside Marina? Pete? Surfside Marina, Surfside 3 Marina, out past Queens. Because people on my father's side owned some of that. And we went there when we were little, and we weren't supposed to go mess around with the boats. And that's no, Francis, I don't. Surfside in New. Oh, okay. Oh, all right, Surfside. Because that was a million years ago. Everybody's passed away. But we'd get in trouble and we'd run out and spy on some of the people. They had real nice, mini, big, beautiful boats, but like half a house, and we'd spy in there. We would spy. Hey, get out! Get out! We would spy. We would spy, and someone very close to me went out, and then he fell and he slid. And then they had to get him out of there. They had to get him out of there. I was, it was bad. We were younger. We weren't even supposed to be there, but whatever. But somebody, my cousin, who was in the mix with another family, they had ownership or something on that way back, whether it was in the legal ownership or just on the side. Who they put names, they put other people's names in, ownership and all that kind of stuff. So that was fun. This is just a talk show. We talk about being made or not being made, but then it just turns into a talk show because I'm sociable, and nobody ever comes at my door and knocks to visit me. I don't have any company. New Rochelle. Those were the days. So Vegas Pete, are you geographically located in Vegas? Vegas Pete? I think you told me this before, but I have brain damage. I have to relearn things every day all over again. It's tough. It's tough. I did have a brain injury. It's all in the book, but I'll take what I can get. Uh, and I don't have total recall on things where people just could say, oh, back in 1993. Oh, yeah, okay, I think you told me that. Yes, Vegas Pete. If I could ever get any kind of better financial situation, I'm going to drive my car to Vegas just for a road trip adventure and do something different. Maybe I could do it like, do it off my phone. Yeah, guys, I'm 500 miles away, blah, 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 and just give you a play-by-play. So that's that. Life is good, folks. I hope you people that gamble, I hope you make a score, or I hope you get your job promotion. And remember, this is crazy thinking, but I did that video about bringing things into your world, like how can you manipulate the forces of the world for your benefit? So go back and look at that video that I did about, so to speak, metaphorically speaking, put your order into the universe and figure out how to manipulate that. Yeah, blood, sweat, and tears is one thing. Hard work will get you where you're going, but there's other things that you can put out there. This is just a holographic world with all different variables. Try to manipulate them. Like a fixed basketball game. You want to fix a basketball game? Well, you manipulated those variables. You manipulated it. Try to manipulate life and the forces into your goal, whatever you want to do. And my only goal is just to have a successful channel and have fun with you guys, maybe get to 1,000 subscribers and have fun. What the hell else am I going to do? You can only gamble so much. You can only eat so much. You can only, if you like women, you can only have that so much. But money, you can only have so much of what you're looking for. And then what matters after that? What matters removed or outside of that? You know what I'm trying to say, folks? You could just enjoy life with whatever you have, but you can try to manipulate things in your favor for a more comfortable living, for more better relationships with your husband or wife. You get it all here, folks. I should be getting paid for this. Someday I will. Someday I will. Not all that glitters is gold. Yeah, a friend of mine, this will be the last thing I say. I was younger, and a friend of mine was going after this girl. And I said, she's a complete whore. No, she was dressed up nice, fine. She's like Marilyn Monroe. And I said, Jackie got VD from her. Oh, no, Jackie's lying, blah, blah, all this stuff. And you can't make this stuff up. 6 months later, I'm at the racetrack. Here he come. He's itching his private, like unconsciously. And I'm like, who do you like in the 4th race? And he's, well, I like the 3 horse. What's going on? What? I said, oh, no. Oh, I says, what do you got? Crabs or something? You freaking communist? What the hell? What? Oh, I got drunk and oh, really? She gave you the scabbies or whatever, and VD. All that glitters is not gold. Oh, I shouldn't even told that story. Oh, but he got the crabs and he got, He got a shot of penicillin or something. I was laughing. I was like, yeah, back then they had something called the crabs where these things would make, these little freaking termites would whatever. I never had, no. I was very discretionary. I was like Rudolph Valentino. I just didn't go around. I didn't always look like this, raggedy like this. I used to look, stay off of me, peasants, you little whore. Get away from me. Nah, God forgive me. I didn't try to be a big shot. So, well, Mauricio, Vegas Pete, thank you for your input. Get them future bets in. But don't blow it all in 1 week. Holy cow. If you need a financial advisor, the Truth Serum Incorporated. I'll manage your money quite effectively. I might blow it in 2 days. At least you lasted a week. All right, folks. See, I shouldn't tell you guys, like, I'm not a psycho gambler anymore. That's why nobody donates to my channel, because they think I'm a psycho gambler. No, I'm on a tight budget. There's no shame in my game. I'm on a tight budget. What the heck? So we're going to leave it under an hour. I got Pete. Thank you. And just check the video out, being made or not being made. There's a lot of misconceptions. Caused a lot of friction for me personally, because guys had envy and jealousy and the 7 deadly sins and all of that shit. But yeah, laughter is free. Laughter's free. Some millionaires don't laugh. I can laugh. Thank you, folks. And remember, be the kings and queens. You're from Royal DNA. If you're going through mental things, rise up. Believe in yourself. All right? Yeah, Pete, some of the guys that weren't made got more respect than the guys that were made. Pete's my consultant here, but I can't afford it. But Pete's my consultant here. So we can rise up. You're going through divorce. You're going through addiction. Depression is tough. Addiction is tough. Being a broken heart is tough. You can come back. You went bankrupt. You can come back. You can come back. I'm starting from scratch. I'm starting from being dead. Read the book. I'm starting from being dead. No pulse. You could come back. You can't start any lower than me, folks. You can't start from a lower point than me. So you all got a better chance and a better so you can do better. And referring to all the possibilities that can happen, bring that stuff into your life. Get your fighting weight up. Get your thinking right. There's a whole world of probabilities out there and possibilities. Manipulate it. Get in there. You can't just go, oh, poor me. No, get in there. We're all going to die someday. At least take a shot on a couple of things. Oh, this sounds far-fetched, Truth Serum. Well, then it's far-fetched for you. If it sounds great for you, then it's great. That's how you dictate your life. Thank you. God bless you all. I appreciate your input. Hit the like button, subscribe button. There's the Cash App and there's the book. Crickets, but I got to get it in there. So thank you, and stay strong, and you'll get there. And everybody's going to rise up. You come in here with me. We're going to talk blah, 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 but we're going to rise up together. We're going to rise up. If that's corny, it's corny, but we're rising up together. You're on my team. I'm on your team. Thank you, and God bless.